I'm afraid I don't know who is the next performer.
It's on hard.
Is it on hard? Okay.
All right, so you're performing.
All right. I am a very... No, I'm not going to.
I'm a little teapot.
Well,
Ma'am.
Do we have an intermission?
I can do a performance. Your Majesty, would you like to hear a recitation of Jabberwocky or a recitation of Cormac the Worst Fighter?
Cormac the Worst Fighter. I was
Like
not
that's
sure
a
with
choice.
me because she said you told it much better.
I would be happy to tell you the story of Cormac the Worst Fighter. Well, my lords and ladies, as some of you know all too well, and as some of you may not know, I am a fighter of some renown. I am renowned for not being a particularly good fighter. I have enthusiasm. And I have spent much time at Pensic, where I have made a name for myself, both as a herald and as an entertainer. I do a lot of radio work for Watchpoint, keeping the drivers in the overnight shifts awake. And that is what I'm most known for, apart from Camp Cry, which they do not have at Pensic when I don't show up. So it's a very heavy burden. But I wanted to join the fray. I wanted to actually fight in the greatest war in the known world. And I wanted to stand on the field with thousands of other fighters and feel the rumble underneath my feet as the charge occurred. So, one year I went to Pensic and I schlepped my armor there. And I knew, though I was going to be there for 2 full weeks, that there's only going to be one day where I would actually be able to fight. So I planned well. I planned for the open field battle. 5 major passes, where the 2 armies, the Mid-Realm, her allies, the East Kingdom and her allies, would fight gloriously. Fortunately, I was asked the night before to do a full overnight shift at Watchpoint. And I cannot say no.
It's a pelican problem.
The doctors have looked into it. It is a physical impossibility. So I worked 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. doing Watchpoint, doing the radio, and really working my voice in the dark world. So I crawled into bed at 6:30 and heard the clash and clang of fighters getting ready at 9, which was muster time. And I woke up going, "Hold on, guys!" Because I completely lost my voice. Get used to that sound. You're going to hear it the entire rest of the story. My apologies in advance. It's important. So I saw them marching out and I said, "Hold on, I'll be right there." Ran to the shower first. Because if anyone here has not been to Pensic, it is very hot and very humid, and everyone stinks. And it's not okay. Frequent showers are a thing. I ran to the shower, scrubbed as best I could, ran back out to the tent, threw on my armor, trying to get this thing on. And then I had to get my armor inspected, because I had not done so yet. This is the first time I was in armor for this war. First time I was in armor in the heat, and humidity, and lack of sleep. So I trudged to the field. Now, CAID is on one edge of the battlefield. It is a fantastic place to camp if you love to fight. But you have to know where you're going. Because you see, the battlefield is 5 football fields long. It's a huge space. And there are many tents. And one of these tents is the tent where you get your armor inspected. Do they have signs? Of course they don't have signs. So I trudge to the first official-looking tent that I can find, and I say, "Excuse me, is this where I get my armor inspected?" "No, Cormac," because everyone in the story knows my name. "No, Cormac, that's on the other side of the battlefield." "Oh no!" So I trudge to the other side of the battlefield, the whole 5 football fields long, and I find another important-looking, official-looking tent, and I say, "Excuse me, is this where I get my armor inspected?" "Yes, it is, Cormac. Did you bring your fighter authorization card, photo ID, and site token?" "Oh no!" I'm trudging back to camp. I'm already hot and miserable and tired, and I'm talking to myself and going, I feel like I'm in a children's story. This feels like the setup for a children's story. And there had better be cake at the end. This is Cormac the Worst Fighter story that, sort of along the lines of Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I'm trying to, there better be cake at the end. The narrator needs to come in at the end and say, "Congratulations, Cormac, you're the best fighter. Yay, cake!" I finally get back to my tent, grab my fighter authorization card, photo ID, site token, and I trudge back all the way across the field, get my armor inspected, everything's perfectly fine, and then I look back again to the other side of the field because I'm on the mid-realm side, and CAID is fighting for the east, here where we're camped, on the other side of the battlefield. There are 1,000 people there, all in armor, and CAID has 7 fighters apart from me, and no banner. So I'm looking desperately. So it's not trudging in a straight line. It's sort of zigzag trudging, looking for the king. Fortunately, our king was wearing particular armor. Very iconic. It could easily be seen. Beautiful blue and white coxcomb on his head. And a cape in the arms of CAID draped from his Roman armor. So I'm eventually able to find him. And I kneel before him and say, "Your Majesty, I am here. I am sorry I've missed the first 2 of 5. Sorry. Sorry I've missed the first of 2-5, but I'm here now." And he goes, "Great. Glad you're here, mate." Hey. Yes, and we all know now who the king was. "Hey, you're my herald, right?" I say, "Yes, Your Majesty." He goes, "Great. Here's what I want you to do. The next pass, I want to meet the King of the Mid-Realm in open battle one-on-one. I need you to go challenge him for me. He's on the other side of the field." "Yes, Your Majesty." So they're on break. So I take my helm off because I'm not about to sprint to the other side of the field because I only have so long before the cannons scream lay on. So I'm running all the way to the other side of the field, getting more winded, getting there. Now, mid-realm is easy to find because they have heraldry and they're the mid-realm. So I'm able to find the king of the mid-realm and I go, "Your Majesty." "Yes. Cormac Mór. King of CAID has for you. Next pass." He goes, "Thank you, Herald. Please report back to your king that I will meet him in open battle for one-on-one combat." Your Majesty. And I run, and I'm sprinting back to the other side of the field because I know that those cannons are going to go off any minute. And I find, where the heck is that coxcomb? Great. And I find King of CAID and I go, "Majesty." Yes. Go ahead. He goes, "Great, good job, mate. Now everyone gather around." And he gathers the other 6 fighters who are not heaving on the ground. And he says, "Now here's what we're going to do. As soon as the cry of lay on is called, we're all going to run. I need you to form a pocket, a safety pocket around me, because they're going to be archers, going to try and take me out. You need to keep me safe so I can meet the king of the mid-realm. Got it? Got it, Your Majesty. Got it, Your Majesty." I go to grab my helm, and as I'm putting it on, the cannons roar. That is the cry for lightning. Cry for lightning. Boom! And from behind me, I hear, "CAID!" And I turn around to see His Majesty thrust his sword forward, and the rest of his body follows suit as he runs full bore tilt into the fray, leaving the rest of his army behind. So I scream bloody murder, grab my sword, and I'm off. And I'm at the back end of this group, this charge of the Light Brigade, half a league onward, trying to catch up with the king. Now, you have to understand, the sides of these fights are huge and humongous, and they've already been fighting, so they're a bit slow to get to combat. So, on this side you have the mid-realm, moving slowly into combat. And on this side, you have the east realm, moving slowly into combat. And right here, you have as we charge headfirst into the fray. The mid-realm are classy folk. They are warm and welcoming. They are generous and hospitable. and they know who they face. So when they saw the King of CAID and his entourage running towards them, they formed a welcoming crescent and show them the greatest of hospitality. King charges full force. The rest of his entourage have their swords down. We are not combatants. Do not engage. We are here to watch the fight. King CAID steps up and says, "G'day, Your Majesty." Salutes. King of Midrealm says, "Majesty CAID, ready?" He says, "Yeah, here we go." And the King of Midrealm advances, steps in, blow to the head, and 2 more on the ground, as the King of CAID is driven into the ground like a dent stake.
With the coxcomb.
Some backstory. The good modern gentle who represents the King of CAID in this particular case had just gotten out of the hospital from the death plague of death.
Yes.
He had been hospitalized for at least a week. And when he got out, his doctor told him, on no account are you to travel. Are you to exert yourself in any way? And by no means are you to fight. He is very pretty. His Majesty is very, very, very pretty. And so we see him fall. The King of CAID is dead. And the General of the Midrealm steps up and says, "CAID! Form up!" My great sword. By the way, I learned great sword not so great in large melee combat. I learned this at the war. Are you ready? Yes. As we were walking back to the front line, laughing, bruised, not quite bloody, but very pleased with ourselves, the Easterners, who had not yet reached their point, looked at us in awe and wonder. What the hell was that? And as we walk, His Majesty of CAID claps me on the shoulder and says, "Great job, mate. Hey, you know what I could go for right now? Cake."
Your Majesty. I knew Cormac at his very first event, at which I was there. And I hate to say this, but there is no cake at the end of the story. There is pie.
Pie is much better than cake.
I thought you were going to come out and say that you were on high right now.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing that, Cormac.